Yo, what's up guys? New video talking about the new Special League that's coming. And this is actually the first time since pretty much Special League came in the first place and they had like a few rules that they actually added a new rule. And I think we have been rotating like the 4-star Special League, 20-star Special League, RTA Special League for the last 3, 4, 5 years, probably. So now we're having one that is 3 attribute battle, which means no LDs. So people might be like, yo, hey, this is going to be my jam. I don't have the Ragdoll, I don't have the Veronica, I don't have the Gianna. I'm going to rock this world. I'm interested how this will actually work out for meta. So I'm going to make this video looking at like, okay, what would be meta, I think? Which ones would be popping off more because there's no LD counters to it? Which units are certainly getting interesting because the LDs are not there or they kind of have to replace an LD in a specific way? So I'm just going to think about a bunch of units. And of course, we're still going to see like the meta core, whatever. Like we're going to see our Oliver. We're going to see, what's it called? Chung Pong, more for like all of those units we're probably going to see. But a whole bunch of those units kind of work because you can draft, like, for example, if you have a bruiser setup, it works because there's a molly next to it, right? Or if you have a specific cleave, it works because of those LDs are in there. But before we get into the video, I want to talk about sponsor of today's video, which is the Huawei AppGallery. If you're getting any packs in Summoners War, why do you pay the full price? Just use the Huawei AppGallery to get good discounts on your pack. With the current campaign that the Huawei AppGallery has in March, you have the possibility of getting 10% cashback 3 times per weekend day. So that's a Saturday and a Sunday. So you can go up to 6 times for that per weekend. And you can also go all the way up to 30% discount. Plus they have lucky draws and a whole bunch of other things. So if you want to save some money on your packs, which I recommend you to do, this is definitely the way to go. But how does that work? First of all, you have to download the Huawei AppGallery, which is in the description down below, first link. Once you have that downloaded, you have to download the HMS core, which is the part where you will create the account for the Huawei AppGallery. Once you have the Huawei AppGallery account made, you have to select your region. The region would be one of these countries. And I recommend you to choose a country or a region that has the same currency as you, if that is possible. It has to be one of those though. But the reason that I say that is, let's say a pack for the currency in Switzerland might seem cheaper, but however, if you pay by PayPal, as what I do, you have a slight currency exchange fee. Because of that currency exchange fee, it is cheaper for me to pay in euros rather than going for a different currency. So that's a small tip, keep that in mind. But once you have that all set up, you go to the Huawei AppGallery. You search for Summoners War. You see the game in here. This is where you can install the game. This is also where you can open the game, but also where you can see that there is a campaign right away. But you don't want to go to this page all the time checking like, is there a campaign? Is there maybe not a campaign? The best way is to join their Discord, which is also linked in their campaign, also linked in the description down below. Within their Discord, they always post what kind of campaigns are there. If you have any problems with either your Huawei AppGallery account or your purchases or your packs or what kind of campaigns are coming up or anything like that, the staff people in the Discord are very willing to help you out. So once you have that all sorted out, how would it look like if you buy a pack? So this is me pre-recording of buying a pack. I go into the game, I select what kind of pack I want. Right away, I see that I have a coupon selected. I can check if it's the best coupon that is available for me. I go into the purchasing. I can see right away that there was cashback enabled because it was on one of the Saturdays. During the purchasing, you have to use your PIN or login or anything like that. It blacks out the screen while doing that. Once that is done, we can claim the Huawei points where it is at the bottom of the screen. And we can press OK. And that is how easy it is to successfully purchase anything. So once again, I want to thank Huawei AppGallery for sponsoring this video. Let's get into the video. If we take a look at the monsters, like what kind of monsters fall away and make it pretty dominant, because it's not just the LD5s. I think a lot of people are like, yo, there's no LD5s. But there's also LD3s and LD4s, which are very dominant, still active in the meta. For example, where is it? Asher. Asher is not going to be there, which is a very dominant unit if people go for speed contesting. So therefore, speed contesting units that are out there are going to be, for example, just Sibala and Ethna. And maybe something else, I'm not sure, but those are the heavy speed contesting units. Robos are still going to be in there, but no Dark Robo. So that also makes it that a lot of these AoE CC things will struggle with Vert. And Vert is somewhat countered slash cancelled out by some of the LD units, like Molly a little bit, like some other stuff that can stun it maybe. Put glances in there, like a Veronica or a Valantis, those kind of units. But Vert is going to have a free reign in this meta. I think Vert is going to be very strong. I think the only thing properly countering a Vert will be a Zibala, I guess. Because it takes a first turn and it can potentially stun it. But yeah, this is going to be like quite an interesting meta because, like I mentioned, there's not going to be Molly. There's no Kinkies. There's no Mollys, no Kinkies. Already means cleaves become interesting, because a lot of the units that are counter cleave are passive units, which is those. But then you still have like Triple Revenge Vert, Abellio, that kind of stuff. So, and what I noticed, a lot of the cleaves currently that are good are actually LD5 based cleaves. So it's either a cleave based on like a Nikki, which we see some from time to time. We see a whole bunch of cleaves based on like Onyukis. We see a lot of cleaves based on Maximilian. Those kind of units are kind of like the core units for cleaves these days. Like, would we see a comeback, for example, of the Japanese cleave, which could be pretty interesting? I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what the team was, but it was someone along the line of a Bastet, a Draco, Garo, and then Lucian something or Shimate or something along the lines of that. Would that make a comeback with this? Because it is a lot harder to counter with just net 5s, I guess. Well, how Abellio is buffed right now actually makes it doable. I think Diana will definitely be a good factor in the current meta because, or in the special league meta, because Diana is just that factor for like, okay, we can still interrupt those cleaves to a certain extent. But a unit I think that will be very dominant, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it will be first picked at some point, it's this one. Because I feel like if we start bruisering and that kind of stuff, like, oh, we also, of course, have Manon in there, so Manon also hard counters cleaves, of course, so actually cleaving might not be that interesting. But this thing could go either way. You could build a speed team with a cleave and this thing. It is possible. Like, for example, we have let's say something random, you have an attack bar booster, a Dominic, this like Dominic hits something pretty hard, this thing moves, boosts Dominic again, Dominic moves again. Something along the lines of that. You can probably think of a thing with Raccoon, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing would actually become like first picked in Special League. Like, I'm just guessing. I actually have no clue how this will work out. It probably takes about a week for like kind of a meta to form, and then you can say like, okay, we're going more towards like a bruiser meta, or we're going more towards a cleave-ish CC meta. But I think there's very good odds it will be very close to like a bruiser meta, because you still have the Raccoon in there. You have the also the counter bruisers in there, such as Molong, Wolfric, if there's too many buffs. I'm not too sure how far you can get away with just AoE CCing. Like, sure, if you go like more Oliver, Ethna, Zibala, those kind of units, you can get pretty far with AoE CC stuff. But are there enough passive units in the normal elements to actually hard counter that? Or is it at some point just everyone's going to speed check everyone with those kind of like Ethna style of units? Because the moment you pick Ethna and Zibala, like, how many units can the enemy pick that are high on base speed? Pretty much none. Like, you couldn't even Kabila if you wanted to. You couldn't even Kroa if you wanted to. You could just Spectra because it's 226 and you push people back if you know there are none will. Would that be a meta thing? Interesting. So this is actually pretty cool that they finally... I think they should do that more often for Special League. Just something completely different. Like, I'm pretty sure after this one we're going back to like the normal cycle, and then this one's added into the cycle, so we're going to see it like once a year. I also think that a lot of people might actually test this out and rerune for it and just try things out, because if you have like one or two LDs, you just take that set and throw it somewhere else. But I think if you want to play this like really properly, you should fully rerune, and you should actually think about, like, for example, like, yo, can I make that 180 on a Raccoon or a 190 or something like that? I feel like that's going to be pretty impactful. Also, of course, because of all of those passive units in the bruiser meta, We of course going to see Oblivion, which we don't have too much, but this is the obvious Oblivion. In combination with, of course, what is used pretty commonly these days, the Shizuka combination to spread AoE Oblivion. You can also do that with the Fire one if you go for more an AoE CC kind of comp. But a unit that's somewhat still overlooked, but I think very strong in this Bruiser meta. And actually, her hardest counter is not on the field. At least in my opinion, hardest counter is not on the field, which is Herney. And in my opinion, the hardest counter to Herney is a Molly, because if she glances, the S3 just straight up doesn't land. So if there's a Molly on the field and you're throwing this at a Molly and just glances, like, yo, hey, good luck waiting another 3 turns, man. It ain't happening. Not today, not yesterday, and not tomorrow either. So, yeah, I'm pretty curious. Of course, we're going to see a lot of Wind Robo. Wind Robo is definitely going to be in there. Therefore, Triple Revenge Vert is going to be very dominant. I'm not too sure if we're going to see that much of Leo kind of stuff, because I feel like Leo is one of those units that more kind of shines with like LD stuff. There's a whole bunch of net fights out there that are pretty meta, but they're only that much meta because of a LD5 part being in there, making it good. And that's pretty interesting. We're also going to see a balance patch probably pretty soon. There are good odds that we will have the balance patch during this, during the Special League. So that might shake up things for the Special League as well. Are we going to see that Manon nerf? Or I don't even want to nerf her. I just want to nerf her RNG. Like, don't make the unit bad. Just make it not that RNG of a like RNG fuckfest as it is right now. And they could do that treatment for a bunch more units. Because, for example, we're probably going to see that unit quite a lot as well in the Special League, which is going to be Gyu. And Gyu is just a Despair RNG fuckfest. Like, if it despairs everything, most OP unit in the game. If it doesn't, it is trash tier. And there's pretty much nothing in between. And I feel like we're currently on a meta that has a lot, if not too many of those units. And that's also, like, I've been tracking the RTA rating for, like, pretty much most of the players in Europe, but also other regions. Everyone is very streaky going up and down. Like, I've seen pretty much no one consistently play around the same point the whole season. And that's literally for no one. And that is insane. Like, I've been tracking these things since like season 7 or 8. Also, my current rating is absolutely garbage. It could be that I'm playing bad. Could definitely be. Could be that it's super shit RNG. Could be, I don't know. But this season for me, it's also, it took the fun away from, like, for me for playing this RTA season. And I hear that from a lot of streamers. Like, people still push as people still play because of SWC. I'm currently on the point, like, I'm not going to qualify in this season. I will see if I qualify in the next season. I'm just pretty sure I'm not going to make it work. Like, I'm literally all the way down here. I have been up here. I have been up here. I have been down there. And it all depends on your lucky moment and your lucky streak. Didn't really want to make a rant video out of that, but I feel like the current meta that we have is by far the shittiest meta that we ever had. And you could say, like, okay, we always say, like, okay, this is the burst meta, and then the next thing evolves, and that is the worst meta, and this is the worst meta. I feel like this is maybe the hardest RNG meta we have. So if you have your luck moment, you see people climbing like 50 points a day. If you have a bad luck moment, you see people dropping 50 to 60 points a day. And there's no in between. Like, I don't know, man. It feels like there's no in between in that. But yeah, that is my take on the RTA season. Let me know in the comments what you think about the current RTA season. Let me also, on topic, let me know what you think about, like, the Special League season, if you're going to play it, if you think, like, okay, this is going to be your jam because you actually don't have to fight the Ragdolls, you don't have to fight the Giannas, you don't have to fight X, Y, Z, so many things that are super annoying. But keep in mind, there's still a lot of things that are going to be annoying. There's going to be a lot of Manons. There's going to be a lot of Gyus. There's going to be a lot of Triple Revenge Verts. There's going to be a lot of the Ranuki. There's going to be, I don't know, resistance checks, all of that kind of good stuff. We're still having enough of those. So, yeah, I'm pretty curious to see how this meta will evolve. I will definitely play it. probably make a video or two about it. I'm not sure if I would reruin my whole box for it, because most of the times when I did Special League, I did reruin my whole box. I kind of tried and that kind of stuff. I'm currently on the game, especially on the state of RTA, where, well, also like Siege, I'm somewhat demotivated for like how the current gameplay is, that it's so rewarding. Like if you're at a lucky moment, it's just so rewarding to draft those lucky units and you get away with it. Like whether it's a good draft or not, whether you outclass by runes or not, I feel like it's a lot more. And it's not just one Vile proc. Like I'm not just talking as like, oh, you got one lucky Vile proc and therefore you won. So it's a sequence of things like, oh, you more didn't land 4 strips in a row and therefore you instantly lost. I stripped 1 out of 3 and therefore it's, and then you proc 3 times on top of that. Those kind of RNG moments. That's really what I'm feeling this season is a lot more than other seasons. So I've seen a lot of streamers also be like, for example, I've seen Obabo be at 2000 rating. I've seen Obabo be around here at 2260, going up and down. I think you could say like same for X Knight. He was at this rating, he was at this rating, he was like way below that. Everyone is just going like left, right, in a circle. So I'm not really sure what's the state of the game. I do really hope next balance patch is going to be something that doesn't make it worse. Because a lot of the patches we had, it's like, oh, we have Oliver. Oliver is way too OP. We gotta address it by adding in another unit, and we add in Gio because Gio counters Oliver. No, Gio, well, kind of counters Oliver, but mainly if she just stuns every turn, and therefore she becomes the annoying unit. Okay, then we have to fix Gio, and we add in the next stupid thing. And then it's like, oh, but yeah, actually, this is too OP as well, so we add in Manon for whatever reason, make that too OP. It's like, oh, but that's actually too strong as well. So now we have something that instantly one-shots Manon on like RNG base. And then it's like, oh, that instant one-shotter on RNG base on Manon is actually annoying. So we add in another stupid unit. I feel like that's kind of how they're doing balance patches right now. So I really hope that they make something solid for next season. And otherwise, next season is going to be as enjoyable as current season. Guys, thanks for watching this. A little bit of a rant video, but also kind of want to keep it somewhat positive. I am excited for the Special League. I think it's a very cool concept that they finally add something new to the Special League. They should have done this way longer ago, but hey, rather late than never. So guys, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.